Sarah died on October 14th. Car accident. Head-on collision with a semi that drifted into her lane on Route 9. She was 23. The funeral was 6 days later. I spoke at it, though I don't remember what I said. Her parents buried her in Riverside Cemetery under an oak tree she used to like. For the first 2 weeks, I couldn't bring myself to look at her Facebook page. Too painful, too final. But eventually I gave in. I needed to see her face, read her words, pretend for a moment that she was still around. Her last post was from the morning she died. A photo of her coffee cup next to a stack of textbooks. The caption read, "Midterms are going to kill me, lol." The irony wasn't lost on anyone. The post had hundreds of comments. Friends offering condolences, sharing memories, posting old photos. Her page had become a memorial. Her parents left it active intentionally, said it helped them feel close to her. I visited the page every day, sometimes multiple times. I'd scroll through her photos, reread old conversations we'd had in Messenger, look at the stupid memes she used to send me. It became a ritual. Unhealthy, probably, but I didn't care. 3 weeks after she died, something changed. I woke up one morning and checked my phone out of habit. Facebook notification. Sarah Mitchell updated her status. The timestamp said 12:00 a.m. Midnight exactly. My hands trembled as I opened the app. The status was a single word: cold. That was it. No punctuation, no context. Just the word cold posted at midnight from an account that belonged to someone in the ground. I stared at the post for what felt like an hour. Eventually, I convinced myself it was a glitch. Facebook's system screwing up, pulling an old draft she'd never published. Algorithms doing weird things with dead people's data. I reported the post, then called Sarah's mom to let her know. She said she'd look into it. Maybe someone had accessed the account. Maybe it was hacked. She'd changed the password and enabled two-factor authentication. That should have been the end of it. But the next night, another post appeared. Same time, midnight exactly. This one said, "I can't see." Sarah's mom called me the next morning frantic. She swore she'd changed the password. She swore no one else had access. Facebook's security logs showed no unauthorized logins. No one had accessed the account except her, and she'd been asleep when the post went up. We both agreed to deactivate the account. It felt wrong, erasing Sarah's online presence like that, but we didn't know what else to do. Deactivation didn't stop the posts. They kept appearing. Every night at midnight. Every night a new message. Even though the account was deactivated, I still received notifications, still saw them in my feed. It's dark here. Where is everyone? I'm alone. The posts read like someone waking up confused, disoriented, like someone trying to figure out where they were. It was too specific to be random, too coherent to be a bot. On the 7th night, the post said, "Why won't anyone answer me?" I tried to reply, typed out a response in the comments, something about how we missed her, how sorry we were. But when I hit send, the comment disappeared instantly, deleted before it even posted. Sarah's mom contacted Facebook directly, explained the situation, provided the death certificate, demanded they shut down the account permanently. They escalated it to their security team. A representative called her back 2 days later and confirmed the account had been fully deleted from their servers. That night at midnight, another post appeared. "Why did you leave me in the dark?" It showed up in my feed even though the account technically no longer existed. When I tried to click on Sarah's profile, I got an error message. This content is no longer available. But the post was still there, still visible, still timestamped 12:00 a.m. Other people saw it too. Friends of Sarah's started commenting, asking what was going on, why the page was still active. Her mom responded to a few, trying to explain, but no one understood. How could they? We didn't understand it either. The posts started getting longer, more detailed. I can hear you talking. I can hear you crying. But when I try to talk back, no sound comes out. I'm in a box. I think I'm in a box. It's small. I can't move. Please dig me up. Please, I'm still here." That last one broke me. I stopped reading the posts after that. Blocked notifications, unfriended the account, deleted Facebook from my phone entirely. Sarah's mom did the same. But then Sarah's friends started reaching out to me, forwarding screenshots, asking if I'd seen the new posts. I hadn't. I told them I wasn't looking anymore, told them to stop sending me screenshots, but they kept coming. I've been screaming for weeks. Can't anyone hear me? It's so cold, so dark, please. I don't want to be here anymore. One of Sarah's friends, a girl named Emma, became obsessed with the posts. She started documenting them, organizing them chronologically, analyzing the language for patterns. She was convinced someone had hacked the account and was messing with us. Cruel prank by someone who knew Sarah. Emma traced the IP addresses associated with the posts. Facebook's security team had already done this and found nothing, but Emma didn't trust them. She used some online tools, ran the data through a VPN tracker, cross-referenced login locations. Every single post originated from the same IP address, an address registered to Riverside Cemetery's public Wi-Fi network. The cemetery where Sarah was buried. Emma drove out there one night, parked near Sarah's grave, and waited until midnight. She recorded the whole thing on her phone. I've seen the video. At 11:58 p.m., her phone lit up with a notification. Sarah's account posting again. Someone's here. Emma's camera panned to the grave. Nothing. Just the headstone, the oak tree, the empty grass. But then faintly, Emma's microphone picked up a sound. A rhythmic tapping, like nails on wood. Emma ran. She sent me the video the next morning and told me she was done. She wanted nothing to do with this anymore. I don't blame her. The posts continued for another week, then they stopped abruptly. No explanation, no final message, just silence. Sarah's mom had the grave exhumed a month later. She needed to know. Needed proof that Sarah was still there, still at rest, not clawing at the inside of a coffin like the posts suggested. The casket was intact, sealed, undisturbed. Sarah's body was exactly where it should have been, exactly as it had been left. The coroner confirmed she'd been dead since October 14th. No signs of movement, no scratches on the coffin's interior, nothing to suggest she'd ever been alive after the accident. So what were the posts? I still don't know. Facebook never gave us a real answer. They claimed it was a technical error, some database issue that caused old drafts to publish on a delay. But that doesn't explain the content. That doesn't explain the timestamps. That doesn't explain the IP address. Sarah's account is gone now, fully deleted this time I checked. But sometimes late at night, I still get the urge to refresh my feed, just to see if maybe somehow there's one more post waiting for me. One more message from someone who shouldn't be able to send them. Have you ever seen yourself through someone else's camera without knowing you were being filmed? That's what I felt at 2 a.m. when I opened a random video file on my newly purchased laptop and saw myself eating cereal in my kitchen. The video was dated 3 days before I'd even bought the machine. Whoever filmed this was standing in the woods behind my apartment, zoomed in close enough that I could read the text on my phone screen, close enough to see I'd forgotten to tie my left shoe. That's when I scrolled down and realized this file was only one of hundreds. 3 months ago, I needed a cheap laptop for a freelance project. Nothing fancy, just something that could handle basic video editing and run Adobe without crashing every 10 minutes. Found one on Facebook Marketplace for $380. The seller, Kevin M., had decent reviews and lived 20 minutes away. We met in a Target parking lot. He pulled up in a Honda Civic, handed me the laptop through his window, took my cash and left before I even finished counting it. The whole exchange lasted maybe 90 seconds. Efficient. Forgettable. First thing I did when I got home was factory reset it. Standard procedure for any used electronics. Wiped the drive, reinstalled the OS, got everything set up exactly how I liked it. Took a few hours, but by that evening I was ready to start working. Around 2 a.m., I was transferring files from an external hard drive when the laptop froze. Not a full crash, just a temporary hang. When it unfroze, the File Explorer had opened to a directory I didn't recognize. A folder buried deep in the system files, hidden from normal view. The folder was called Local Backup KM. Inside were subfolders organized by date, each containing between 10 and 40 video files. The oldest folder was labeled May 2023. That was a year and a half ago. I opened one of the videos at random. It showed my apartment, specifically my kitchen, filmed through the window above the sink. I was standing there, eating cereal, wearing the same shirt I'd worn that actual day. The timestamp in the corner read 7:42 a.m. But that was impossible. I'd only owned this laptop for 8 hours. Another video, my living room. The angle suggested it was shot from across the street, zoomed in enough to see me sitting on my couch watching Netflix. I recognized the episode, Season 3 of Breaking Bad, the one where Jesse confronts Hank. I'd watched that exact episode 2 nights prior. A third video, this one from my bedroom. The curtains were partially open, and through them I could see myself at my desk, headphones on, working on my actual desktop computer. The metadata said the file was created 6 days ago. My throat tightened. Someone had been recording me, not just once but systematically over multiple days from multiple angles. And somehow, all of this footage had ended up on a laptop I just purchased. I spent the next hour combing through the files. There were hundreds of them. Videos of me walking to my car, videos of me checking my mailbox, videos of me sitting on my balcony drinking coffee. The earliest ones predated my current apartment. They showed my old place, the one I'd lived in until 4 months ago. Whoever filmed this had followed me through a move. I checked Kevin's Facebook profile. His page was sparse. A few photos of him at what looked like family gatherings, some posts about local sports teams, nothing that connected him to me in any obvious way. No mutual friends, no shared interests, no geographic overlap that I could identify. There was one detail that stuck out. In his profile picture, he was standing in front of a white van with tinted windows. The license plate was partially visible. I screenshotted it. My next move was to search for the creation date of the hidden folder. It had been made 3 years ago, long before I'd even moved to this city. That meant the folder predated any footage of me. Kevin, or whoever owned this laptop before him, had been using it as a storage device for surveillance long before I became a target. Then I found something worse. A text file labeled Schedule Notes, TXT. I opened it. Inside was a detailed log of my daily routine. What time I left for work, 8:15 a.m. usually. What time I came home, 6:30 p.m. most days, later on Thursdays. Which grocery store I went to, the Kroger on Lincoln Ave. Which coffee shop I frequented, the Grind, corner of 5th and Main. Even which gym I went to and how long I usually stayed. Beneath the schedule was a list of personal details. My full name, my phone number, my car's make and model including the license plate, the name of my employer, the name of my landlord. At the bottom of the file, a single sentence, monitoring continues, backup remains active. Backup remains active, present tense. I checked the laptop's network activity. There was an outbound connection to an IP address I didn't recognize, transmitting data in real time. Someone was still accessing this device remotely, even after I'd wiped it. Panic set in. I disconnected from Wi-Fi, then powered down the laptop entirely, grabbed my phone and called the police. The officer who answered didn't seem to take it seriously at first. She asked if I'd actually seen anyone following me. I explained about the videos, the schedule, the active connection. Her tone shifted. She said she'd send someone to take a report. While I waited, I went through my apartment and checked every window. Most of the videos had been shot from street level or from the wooded area behind my building. I pulled every curtain closed, locked every door, checked the balcony to make sure no one was out there. The detective who arrived 2 hours later was more thorough than I expected. He took the laptop, copied all the files onto a department hard drive, and spent nearly an hour asking me questions about Kevin, the sale, and whether I'd noticed anyone suspicious in my neighborhood recently. I mentioned the white van in Kevin's profile picture. The detective wrote down the partial plate number and said he'd run it. 3 days later, he called me back. Kevin's real name was Kevin Milford, and he had a record, 2 prior arrests, both for voyeurism-related offenses. One conviction, 18 months in county jail, released 8 months ago. The white van was registered to him, and according to surveillance footage from my apartment complex, it had been parked on my street at least a dozen times over the past 2 months. Kevin was arrested at his home the following morning. During the search, they found 4 other laptops, each containing similar folders filled with surveillance footage of different people. None of the other victims had been contacted yet. I was the first to report it. The detective told me Kevin had been selling the laptops deliberately, not to get rid of evidence, but as part of his obsession. He wanted his victims to find the footage, to know they'd been watched, to feel the violation. It was a compulsion. That explanation should have brought me some relief, but it didn't. Because a week after Kevin's arrest, I started getting emails. The messages came from a burner account with no identifying information, no subject line, just a single sentence in the body. You weren't supposed to find that. I forwarded them to the detective. He said Kevin was in custody and had no computer access, which meant either someone else was involved or the emails were automated, sent on a delay. Then the emails got worse. Attached photos, pictures of my new apartment, the one I just moved into to get away from all this, taken from outside through the windows at night. I'm still getting them. One arrived this morning. The photo showed my bedroom, taken less than 12 hours ago. In it, I'm asleep, visible through a gap in the curtains I thought I'd closed. The detective says they're working on tracing the emails, but so far, nothing. Kevin isn't talking. The other laptops didn't have any remote access capabilities like mine did, which suggests I was special somehow, targeted differently. I don't sleep with the lights off anymore. Every window in my apartment has blackout curtains now, double layered, checked twice before bed. I bought a camera detection device, one of those RF scanners that's supposed to find hidden wireless signals. I sweep my apartment with it every night. Haven't found anything yet. But I also haven't stopped getting the emails. It started with a message request on Facebook. Nothing unusual about that. I get a few every week from people I vaguely know or accounts trying to sell me something. But this one was different. The sender was me. My own name, my own profile picture. The message was timestamped 11:43 p.m. 3 minutes ago. Don't go home tonight. I read it twice, trying to make sense of it. Some kind of joke, a compromised account. I checked my profile from a different device. Everything looked normal. No unusual activity, no strange logins, nothing to suggest someone had hacked me. But the message was still there. Sent from an account that looked identical to mine, except when I clicked on the profile, it showed 0 friends, 0 posts, 0 photos. Just my name and my current profile picture. I typed a response, "Who is this?" The reply came immediately. "You, from 4 hours in the future, don't go home, trust me." My stomach turned. This wasn't funny. I reported the account, blocked it and tried to move on. Probably just some elaborate phishing scam, someone spoofing my identity to freak me out. 20 minutes later, my phone buzzed. Another message request. Same account, different profile picture this time. The new photo was one I'd taken earlier that day but hadn't posted anywhere yet. A selfie from my car, sitting in the parking lot at work. "You blocked me. That was a mistake. I'm trying to help you." I didn't respond. Instead, I changed my Facebook password, enabled two-factor authentication, and logged out of every active session except my phone. Whatever this was, I wanted it gone. But the messages didn't stop. "You're going to leave work in 15 minutes. You're going to drive home. You're going to unlock your front door at 12:27 a.m. Don't." I looked at the time. 11:58 p.m. I was still at my desk, finishing up some late-night work I'd volunteered to handle. The office was empty except for me and the overnight security guard downstairs. The message's specificity unsettled me. 15 minutes would put me at 12:13, which was around when I usually left on nights like this. And 12:27 was about how long it took to drive home and walk to my door. How could they know that? Another message. "Check the news. Apartment fire on Maple Street. That's 2 blocks from you. It's going to spread." I Googled Maple Street apartment fire. Nothing came up. No news articles, no alerts, no reports. Either the account was lying or the fire hadn't happened yet. I decided to wait. If there was a fire, it would hit the news soon enough. I kept my browser open, refreshing the local news page every few minutes. At 12:04 a.m. an alert appeared. "Breaking news, structure fire reported on Maple Street. Multiple units responding. Residents evacuated." My hands went cold. The message had been accurate, 6 minutes ahead of the news. Another message arrived. "See, I'm not lying. The fire spreads to your building by 12:45. If you go home now, you'll be inside when it happens. You won't make it out." I stared at my phone, trying to process what I was reading. If this was real, if this account really was me from the future, or someone with information I didn't have, then going home was a death sentence. But that was insane. Time travel, precognition. There had to be another explanation. A fourth message. "You don't believe me, I get it. I wouldn't believe me either, but you need to listen. Stay at the office. Sleep in your car if you have to, just don't go home." I grabbed my coat and walked downstairs. The security guard, an older guy named Dennis, was watching something on his phone. I asked him if he'd heard about the fire on Maple Street. He nodded. "Yeah, just saw the alert. Bad one from the sound of it. You live over there." "Close," I said, 2 blocks away. Dennis frowned. "Might want to check on your place, make sure everything's all right." That was the reasonable thing to do, the normal thing, but something about the messages made me hesitate. I walked to my car and sat in the driver's seat, phone in hand. Another message was waiting. "You're thinking about going home anyway. You're thinking this is all fake, that someone's messing with you. You're wrong, I'm you. I went home, I didn't listen, and I didn't make it out." A fifth message, this one with a photo attached. I opened it. The image showed my apartment building engulfed in flames. Fire trucks lined the street, hoses spraying water that didn't seem to be doing much. The timestamp on the photo read 1:02 a.m. An hour from now. "Still don't believe me? Stay where you are. You'll see the same thing I saw, except you'll be alive to see it." I sat there for a long time, weighing my options. Every logical part of my brain said this was a hoax, someone with Photoshop skills and a sick sense of humor, but the fire on Maple Street was real. The timing had been exact. What if the rest of it was real too? At 12:25 a.m. I made a decision. I drove to a 24-hour diner on the other side of town, ordered coffee, sat in a booth by the window where I could see my phone. At 12:48 a.m., another news alert. Fire spreads to adjacent buildings on Maple Street. Multiple structures involved. Evacuation zone expanded. At 1:05 a.m. my phone buzzed. Not a message this time, a call from my own number. I didn't answer, let it go to voicemail. A minute later, the voicemail notification appeared. I played it. Static at first, then a voice, my voice. You listened? Good. You're alive. That means I'm alive. That means this loop is over. The line went dead. I checked Facebook. The account was gone. No message history, no profile, nothing, like it had never existed. The fire didn't reach my building that night. It stopped 2 blocks away, contained by firefighters just before 2 a.m. My apartment was untouched. I went home the next morning. Everything was fine. No damage, no smoke, no sign that anything had almost gone wrong. But I kept thinking about that voicemail. This loop is over. What did that mean? How many times had this happened? How many versions of me had ignored the warnings and died in that fire? And if I'd saved myself by listening, what happens the next time I don't?